lines on the left side are completely different from sin lines on the right side, and they have different names and they have different functions. They have different names and they have different functions. So we don't usually go hopping back across to balance the person, to balance. We don't traditionally even work all the lines on both sides of the body. The only time, like, we're learning the standard vinyasa right now. So we do work both sides. We have an A side, B side of the body. But in treatment, not necessarily so. Because in treatment, you'll balance the side of the body eventually. Start with generic. See, working both sides is general. It's called general balancing session. But eventually, you don't want to do general balancing session. You want to target specific side imbalance. In which case, you will emphasize one or the other side of the body and the lines on one or the other side of the body based on the lines that are calling out, the lines that are showing the most disadvantage or imbalance or blockage or what have you. And in really traditional treatments, you may not work the other side of the body at all. And if you see clinically, you'll see practitioners who only work one side of the body. But they determine which side is most out of the balance and they correct that. Now let me do one more idea so it's kind of clear for you. But in general practice, we work both sides of the body.
Now, to set up properly for the half locust pose, you really need to make sure we're in the correct position. Otherwise, this is a prime pose to throw out your back. Ask me how I know. That wasn't a fun one. I move the arm far enough out of the way so that depending on how tall I am, I want to place my inner ankle right about the outside of his knee. And I want my knee underneath my hip. So I'm not starting like this, and I'm not all scrunched up over here. Because if I'm scrunched up over here, then I need to bend forward in order to get the mechanics. So I'm here as much as I can. Now this is where we really start actively using our lunge, our quads, right? I can lift using my low back, but then I risk hurting myself, especially if it's a larger person. So what I begin to do is lunge deeply, and I'm going to place my fingertips underneath the inner knee. If it's hard to reach, I just kind of pop it up for a second. And now, depending on how a person relaxes and rotates, my goal is to keep their leg in my arm like a baby or a beach ball. Okay? Now, what we're going to be doing is lifting the leg to create an arc in the client's body. I've never worked doing this position before, so I can't have any expectations about how far he can or cannot go. All I know is that I've had people, their foot has touched their head before, and I didn't expect it. All right, but we're going to be placing our hands in two different positions. The first one, the palm, the center of the palm is going to go where point 1 is, and then the second point is point 2, and then the third time we do this is point 1. Now I don't set my hands so it crosses the spine, so as I'm up here, I want to turn my hand as far back as I can. All right, now you can see I'm leaning forward a little bit here, so I really want to stay as upright as possible. And I'm going to generate the force from the foot that's right next to the knee. And I'm going to start lifting. Okay? That's about where we want to go. We don't take them out all the way, and we don't push too much further than that. I'm going to shift my hand to the second position. And then I'm going to use that leg until we reach the end point. And then I go back to point 1. That's right, you breathe.
Awesome.
let that go. So that is side one. Side two, for simplicity of movement, rather than getting up and going to the other side, we're going to simply place the foot in between the legs, close to the opposite side. From here, I have to use my big lunge to reach the foot. Once I get the foot, I can take a moment. If I notice that there's tension in the client, I might want to give a little wiggle, because now they know what's coming, right? Now they know. So from here, I want to support the foot as I begin to reach. Same thing, I go, so my shoulder is near the arch of their foot, and then I'll do a little pop to get that knee into place. If you do not have a good grasp on the knee, you can pull your your flexor muscles. You can pull them, that's no fun either. So from here, I'm in my deep lunge, and I want to use this leg, not my back, to lift. Point 1, point 2, point 3, my fingertips face away from the center line. My hand does not go on the spine itself.
You always do it from both legs from the same side?
Yes. Okay, so take a deep breath in. Good. Don't let them all the way down. Go into point 2. Good. And then back to point 1. Keep as relaxed as you can. Let me have your weight, Tyler. There it was. And then gently relax.
So the first time you flipped the hand and the second time you didn't.
It's
Good stuff.
How about this? You can apply this principle to every posture we do. With emphasis. So you're learning a catalog. You're learning the Encyclopedia Britannica of the Royal College. Right? So once you understand the words, what the words mean, the phraseology, that's the sequencing and the vinyasa, then you can elaborate, you can speak, you can make poetry. Right? Or you can make a drama story. Right? Once you know the words, once you know what you're saying. And then, so this principle, like I've been talking with, this proprioception tied in with the breath. And my posture also. See, by having my posture to be strict and correct, then I know if the deviation is him or me. If my posture is all over the place, willy-nilly, comme ci, comme ça, I don't know if the resistance is you or me. I don't know. I don't have a way to do it. But if I have consistent, more precise movement and application, the deviation is the client. The tightness is you. The limitation on the range of motion, the variation, insufficiency in the breath, or the high thoracic breathing, or it becomes completely, totally visible. But if I'm all over, if I'm just breathing willy-nilly, and I'm like, banging my ears with my shoulders every time I take a deep breath, and I'm not going to notice you doing the same. I'm going to think you look normal. You look natural. Like we're in the mirror side by side. Yeah, it looks fine to me. But it should look like you're going like, and I'm going, right? Should look different. And it should feel different. Okay, that's pretty cool. So how do we feel about the prone position right now? Feel like we're good? Able to...
As close as I can. Framing my workspace, which is going to be his abdomen. And that's in between the bones, so it's in between ribs and his hip bones. And just for visual reference, I'm working around the navel. So my hand, I'm putting my full hand on, and I'm just placing my other hand on top. And I'm going to go clockwise, so it doesn't matter which side I'm going the same direction. And that stimulates digestion. And I start to draw circles, and notice how his skin is moving. So even if he's wearing a shirt, His shirt will definitely be moving, and the skin underneath the shirt will move as well. But this is for a good visual. And for technique, notice I'm going very slow, and I'm covering that whole abdominal surface. My fingers are relaxed. Semi-relaxed. And as I work 30 abdominal circles, really you can just pick a number, anywhere from, the book says anywhere from 30 to 108. There's a prayer that I can say, which is the Buddha's name, forward and backwards. Okay. Namo Puta Jiao Ta Put Po. Nam Po Puta Jiao Ta Put Po. Nam Po Puta Jiao Ta Put Po. Nam.
Okay, hitting hardly a name on the way. Okay, you do a number 1. You do a number 2. Don't try to hit me. Just do a 1 or 2. You do a 1. It's down. 2. Remember, you're reaching out to your imaginary opponent. If you're reaching out doing a 1, and I'm reaching out doing a 1, the sticks have to cross. Right? That's just physics. Okay? Ready? 1. Don't try to hit it. Just remember. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. Every time. That's what you do if you miss.